And welcome everybody, it's Dan Latto speaking, hope you're well today. So this is the weekly roundup show, and I just wanted to kind of include this as part of our podcasting shows, as part of your podcasting experience, your podcasting listening experience. And I wanted to do this. This really talks about our business, but really this kind of reflects your business as well, or it should be reflecting your business. And you should also be looking at what sort of stuff has happened in your business this week, and what effect has it had, what stuff have you implemented, what hasn't worked as well. It's always interesting. And you know, I don't really think that business should just be the same thing day in, day out. Nothing really changes. I think that your business should be evolving. You should be trying new things. And invariably, when you try new things, it means some things are going to fall flat on its backside, right? And so that's fine. And I'm totally comfortable with that these days, it seems. And I don't really care if it works or not. It's nice if it does, and if it doesn't, we've done something wrong, so we have to change it up until it works. And that's kind of interesting, I think. And so reviewing what that is and what you've done different this week to move you closer to your goals, I think every business owner should be doing that. So let's talk about content, shall we? We've been putting out more content, needless to say, and I'm sure you've probably seen it. Like, we've gone live every day this week. I think it's live every day for our podcasting show, and we've broken it down again into business growth show, sales and marketing, property cash flow, mindset and hustle, and then this one, which is kind of like a weekly review. And I think we're going to continue to do that unless I'm not available for some reason to do it. And this is the bit that's important, is it's not just about putting live content out for the sake of putting out live content. That's not really the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to put content out so that we can then break it down into smaller snippets. And then we publish those out as shorts across YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. And so all that kind of goes out across there. And then in addition, it means that we have more content that goes out on podcasting, audio podcasting, for things like Spotify and Amazon and iTunes, for example. We're on iTunes and Stitcher and all of the podcasting channels which we're on. So we've been putting out a lot more content. And so one of the things that we've realized, or one of the consequences of putting out more content, is that we've had, needless to say, an increase in inquiries across the board. So from very light inquiries to just simple friend requests, which is kind of like an inquiry, kind of not, right? It's definitely not a sales lead, but more people adding you as friends and your follower count going up, more people subscribing, eventually will lead to an increase in sales one way or the other. And then to more direct increases in sales, where we've had more calendar bookings this week than we've had for a long time, and probably because we've pumped up the volume of content. In fact, there's no probably about it. It's because we've put up the volume of content. So it's kind of like, the more you go live and the more content you go out and the more you get in front of people, the more leads you actually get. Like, who would have known that was what would happen as a consequence of being in front of more people? And so this is what should happen. You should be pushing for more inquiries. You should be pushing for more engagement. You should be putting content out so that you're creating a talking point and people are going to reply. They're either going to love it or hate it. We had some on our shorts because we were talking about rent rises going up, and we got we got some comments from people in America which talked about black neighbourhoods. Well, I don't think we have black neighbourhoods in the UK. We have a mixture of races all living together to some extent, right? I think it's, Americans obviously got some issues around race, which it's never seems to have gone away, but it creates engagement, it creates people talking about it, it opens up to have a conversation, which is really what this is about. And I find that really interesting, and having those conversations, and I'm like, dude, we don't really have specific race areas where non-whites can go, or non-black people can go, or non-Asian people can go, or whatever the race happens to be. I don't even know what are we allowed to use the word white people or Asian people or black people. I don't even know what the terminology is these days. I just don't know, right? But it gets us into this point where now we're engaging and into a conversation. It allows me to have a greater understanding of what's going on in the world as well. I find it very interesting. And I said to the dude, look, I'm talking about the UK property market, and if you're living in a place where the landlord doesn't do repairs, which might happen, by the way, and I don't condone that at all, why not have a word with the landlord and say, look, you buy the paint and I'll do the painting. You're living in this house. You might be living in the house for quite some time. Why don't you do that? Like, we're now engaging, and all right, it happened to be an American person commenting on my UK-based property video, but there's no reason why other people then don't see that because of that engagement. And then because of that, then you're going to get more inquiries. You're going to get more eyeballs on your content. And that's the whole point of it. And obviously, we know that more eyeballs leads to more inquiries, and more inquiries will lead to an increase in sales. So I just want to break this down, because there's a step in between. Content output, that's fine. That leads to an increase in inquiries, that's fine. That then leads to the extra step, which is an increase in sales calls, which then in turn leads to an increase in sales. And that's the bit that I actually want to kind of focus on a little bit here, is that from a sales call point of view, we're driving people to our Calendly link, and off there we get people on a call. We spoke to a lady about website stuff for about an hour yesterday, actually. A really nice conversation, because we sincerely want to help them, right? It's not just about a website sale. We actually want to help them. Got a really interesting serviced accommodation business, and we want to help them make that a complete and utter success. So we spend the time with people to help them so that they understand what they need from our point of view, what we think they need, and what will really move the needle in terms of moving their business forward. And so we're in a sales call in a position of how can we actually help this person the most so that they can get the most out of this call to allow them to move forward. And so more content will lead to an increase in inquiries, which leads to an increase in the number of sales calls. But if you're dreadful on a sales call, you're not going to get an increase in sales. And so you need to recognize that. How many calls are you getting, and how many sales are actually coming off those calls? And if you're getting 10 calls a week and no sales, your sales suck, right? So that's fairly obvious. Oh no, it must be everybody else except my selling technique. No, it's probably your selling technique. And so you need to go on a training course. Sorry, the dog's just come to say hello. Luna, she's called. So you need to work out, where are you falling down in your business? Is it in your content output? Are you not putting a lot of content out there, not getting many views, not getting any sales inquiries, and therefore no sales? Or are you getting content and you're getting some engagement, but you're not getting an increase in inquiries? Okay, so what's the content? What's the problem there? Or are you getting an increase in inquiries, but they're not leading to an actual sales call? Okay, so what's the stepping stone from an increase in inquiries to actually getting a sales call? Or is it that you're getting a sales call, but they're not actually getting an increase in sales? And so it could be all sorts of different reasons for any of those sections, but you knowing what part of this process you're actually falling down at, that's really the important bit here. And then of course for us, we're actually into recruiting more staff again, and we're actually looking for content coordinators, UK based, full or part-time, 20 hours a week at least, maybe in Leeds, maybe not in Leeds. Work from home is definitely something that we can do. Let me move my little arrow down. But it's really nice that we're, in the state of the market and the state of the UK as it is right now, we're actually looking at increasing the number of staff members that we have in order to service our existing clients better, and also to take on the increase in inquiries and the increase in sales that we're getting as well. Very, very important that we maintain a certain service levels, and actually increase service levels. Like I've spent all week this week taking on and having test interviews for podcasting and video interviews with one of our interviewers who's now coming on board, and he's got his first First interview's lined up next week, I believe. So that's very interesting. Just that's where we get one of our guys to go and interview our clients. And from there, our clients now have all this extra content that we can then schedule on their behalf. It's a really nice way of doing it. But it's all in all, it's been a very, very busy week. And actually, it's not just about business. You know, like I got back from Bali on the 8th. Oh, gosh, on the 11th. That's almost 2 weeks ago. I was just exhausted from that. And just this week, I felt like I've actually felt normal again and actually crushed it at CrossFit and I ended up getting some new personal bests and that kind of thing, which is really nice. It's what we live for. And so just from that point of view, that's gone very well as well. But that's what your week should be about. It should be about fitting in more things and looking at what have you done and how have you improved and how far along are you in your business and what mistakes did you make and what could you do more of and all of that kind of thing. And I think it's really important that you actually put that in place. Anyway, look, I hope that's useful. Very quick one today, just a quick 12-minute podcast there. But I wanted to get that out because I think it's something that we should do more often and you guys should do more often as well. And I hope that's useful. Other than that, have a wicked weekend and we'll catch up with you on Monday. Have a good one. Take care.